So Zest, Solar, they've agreed to move on into the mid game without one player attempting to kill the other before anything else. So third base is now done. We have our second Stargate done, as well as the Robo on the way, just about done here. Hey, is that actually Cure? Is that the actual Dragon Phoenix Gaming Korean Cure? Because that's pretty cool. Anyway, the Oracle will fly its way on into the National. We're getting a couple workers as Zest, Zest will rebuff the Zergling aggression into his natural and at third base. And there we go. Double Void Rays on the way here. And again, Solar does not look like he's going for a Queen Walk. As again, there's a layer done. He's getting those additional gases. He's going up to 6 gas here. And this tells us he wants to get something a little bit more tech heavy. At the very least, it's going to be Roach Ravager, Bane maybe. But really, we're going to have to see exactly what he wants to get done. His +1s will get started here. Roach Speed as well. Fourth base for Solar. And again, we're going a little bit later here, which is rather surprising. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't. Please. Thank you, Buckboy. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't really feel like in this game. Good bot. It doesn't really feel like this game that I've really seen Queen Walks, the Soul Stroll, whatever you want to call it, be all that inefficient in these games. But there we go. We have the Spire on the way. This is something that Solar, well, he killed Skillis with it in game number 5. What I'm looking at here is whether he goes for the 13 Muta into Corruptor setup, or whether he goes for a more actually, I don't know. The style he did against Skillis, right? Where you get like 8 mutas, you force the response into Phoenix, you delay the carriers, right? You delay that late game tech, or whether it will be Muta Corruptor. I think it's most likely going to be Muta Corruptor here. As, well, we have some roaches moving out on the map too. They shouldn't get a lot. They really shouldn't get anything done here, as there are 5 Void Rays and they're going to have +1 eventually. So these roaches should not get anything done, but it's kind of a fake Queen Walk, right? Solar only has 3 queens. I mean, 3 queens, even with energy, you're not going to fight these. Not going to fight these Void Rays, I don't think. Especially nowadays, we have more Void Rays on the way. And yeah, we have. Let's see, Disruptors are on the way, but this is actually this is a really cool mind game here from Solar, because what we're seeing is not what we're getting. At least what Zest is seeing is not what he's getting here in this game. 5th base now on the way here for Solar. The Spire's just about done. And he's got a lot of gas bang. 12, 13 mutas on the way. So we're going to see 13. He's going to go up to like 14, 16, maybe 18 mutas. And try to wreak havoc as much as he can until Zest reacts, right? Until Zest gets a bunch of Phoenixes and maybe anti-pulse crystals, whatever. And at that point, well, it's going to be Corruptors. And it will be Muta Corruptor versus Phoenix Void Ray. And that generally, when I've seen Solar playing, it has gone the way of the Zerg player. Now, here's the interesting thing, right? Mutas, they are just popping, which means that these 3 carriers should get out before Phoenixes have to get started, which is both a blessing and a curse, right? Because Zest, it means that these first, the first 16 mutas are going to get a lot of damage done. Yes, you're BAML, you're just my PhD. Well, I haven't started my PhD thesis yet, so please, Buckboy, tell me what my thesis is on. That would make me very happy indeed. But now the mutas, they're just going to dive on top of these Void Rays. And, okay, Shield Battery Overcharge is now going to get popped. Carriers are trying to take the fight here. And, well, they're not being micro properly. That being said, let's actually let's clip that. So 6 mutas go down. And this was not the best fight there from Solar. Now, he's going to look to dive on top of these carriers now. But again, these carriers are significant meat shields in this game. And yeah, Zest, he's like, look, you're not a threat to me here. Not yet. I can build more carriers. I still have most of my Void Rays alive. I have Disruptors on the ground. He's not the Korean. Well, welcome anyways, Cure. Hope you're having a good night. Even if you're not the Korean Cure, you're still special to me here. As the Mutas, Corruptors, Zerglings, everything's going to try to get on top of everything here. And this is actually, the army of Zest is just out of place. The Corruptors will be able to fight this. The air army of Solar is absolutely dominant. So yeah, we will have the carriers. They're going to try to run back. One carrier goes down immediately. Second carrier will find some sort of solace in the shield battery, but it's just going to go down all the same. More and more roaches, Zerglings flooding on in. And yes, we do have Disruptors. They're going to maybe be able to do something here, but it's just all about the Zerglings. GG, Solar, he takes game 1. Anyway, so we have a Stargate on the way. This was Stargate into Warp Gate, so a little bit faster Stargate units, a little bit slower ground units, ground warped in units, right? This is a smaller map. than Juggernaut. Granted, speed zones make that calculus a little bit interesting, but in general, this is a smaller map than Juggernaut, which does make it a little bit more susceptible for some sort of queen walk. Look at this. Zest will find not a single thing. Okay, he's going to get a Zergling and warp on out, but hey, you know what? He forced, was that 17 minerals of a morph, and he got a Zergling. Yeah. Actually, not even. That's 4 minus. It's like 18 minerals there of the cancel and of the spore cancel, and then the Zergling. So yeah, it's not nothing, but it's also not going to really make a difference over the course of this game. Yeah. See, what I was trying to do when instant replay kind of stopped working, ideally, I don't have to wait until the black screen. We have that weird black screen for half a second. Ideally, the way it happens is I go and I just have automatic scene switcher go, and the minute the playlist is done, I swap back to my main screen, which is possible. But the thing is, what I found out now is as long as I open the VLC source, and it does, I don't even have to reset the directory. I just have to open it, and I guess that forces it to reset, and then it'll be fine. So I think I figured it all out. I got it working. I know what I'm doing. It's only taken what 4 hours and 12 minutes to get that one figured out. Plus the large amounts of time I spent yesterday and today trying to get everything working, figuring out exactly how I wanted to do it. Finding the bash commands and writing the auto hotkey script and all that. But you know what? I feel accomplished at the end of the day. And if I can say, look, ESL, I can roughly approximate your production. I mean, it's not perfect, but maybe I'll get there eventually. If I can roughly approximate your production value for like a B stream without your team of without the production crew behind it, well, you should hire me, because that sounds like fun. As the Oracle will fly on in here, and it's just I'm actually gonna get a couple workers. So 2 workers do go down. We will see a 3rd worker go on down as well. And there we go. Double Void Ray is the name of the game here. Zest is taking his 3rd base in actually kind of a rather interesting position, because on the one hand, it's not quite as defensible. There's a big concave around it. Generally, that's why Protoss don't like to take the 3rd base in that position on this map. Also because, of course, Solar took the pocket 3rd as well, which means it's a direct shot to get creep into the 3rd where Zest has taken it. That being said, on the flip side, it is further away from the Zerg base. All right. And it doesn't quite make you deal with the similar amount of sadness and woe that you have to deal with that 3rd base there, because then it's much easier to separate the natural and the 3rd in terms of queen walks. But once again, we got Muted Tech here from Solo. He's not interested in the queen walks. He says, I think I found a better way to play this game. Hey, Fuckboy! Thank you for getting rid of the get-rich-quick bots before I even had to worry about it. Yeah, I mean, the cure, that makes sense. I don't think most people are going to check your fact, though. Unfortunately. I mean, I did, because I'm like, who's this guy? He's got a partner. That's pretty cool. Okay, so there we go. We have a fleet beacon on the way here, a 3rd Stargate plus a couple of additional gateways. Zest has a rather powerful army right now. It's powerful sky army for the moment. 6 Void Rays. But here's the thing, right? The Spire is just about done. We have enough gas for 12, 13 mutas. Void Rays trying to make their presence known, but there are too many queens. It's not going to be a big deal. And look at this. Huh. This will not be mutas here on this game. It's 10 Corruptors going on the way. And yeah, this is just going to be a +1 Zergling Queen Walk. This is just the sledgehammer of Zerg. Last game was some... last game was the finesse Zerg, right? It's, I'm going to go mutas, then I'm going to go Corruptors and whatever. This one is, yes, 16 Corruptors at your face. Hope you can survive there, dude. Because I got Queens, I got Corruptors. These Corruptors will never die. Good luck holding that. Now, that being said, +1 air weapons just about done. We have Disruptors on the way. And Disruptors actually, they deal with Queens and they don't, right? Because it's 2 Disruptor shots to kill a Queen. But on the flip side, you can get a lot of damage on a lot of Queens. They will not split off creep all that well at all. And that does mean that life gets rather complicated. And already Queens, we're starting to see them spend some of their energy on things. Void Rays are just going to pop their beams. And yeah, the Queens are here. But we have 2 Transfuses left. There we go. Void Rays popping those pulsar beams, so the Corruptors just cannot fight. Interesting that it was pop the pulsar beams on top of the Queens, but you know what? It's fine. So now we have the Corruptors. They're moving on in. There are 15 Corruptors on the map, 9 Void Rays, and the Queens, they're all out of energy. That being said, of course, pulsar beams are done. Corruptors are still fighting strong. Queens are still fighting strong. Void Rays, they're going to be forced to give up the position, but this is the move. That stasis trap was absolutely massive here, and now we have Disruptor shots. They're going to go on top of the last couple Queens. It looks here that Zest has the hold. Now, the Corruptors, of course, they can still fight, but not all that well, because this is +1 air attack from the Protoss side, not from the Zerg side. That's coming in just about 14 seconds. Now, the Queens, they're going to get unfrozen, but there's not a lot they can do at this point. They were not able to regen all that much HP or all that much energy in the stasis trap. This all-in from Solar did not work. Zest now has 4 bases. He still has a powerful army. He has carriers on the way. But yeah, if you're trying to get back into StarCraft, I have a Discord. Not exclamation mark Discord in chat because the bot's dead. Take a look in my, what's the word? In my description, right? There's a link for the Discord there. There are a couple of us. It's still small. It's growing. And, yeah, hey, this guy's at 7,000 MMR. We talk about stuff. We talk about robots and PhD stuff and how bad my emotes are and StarCraft in general. A bunch of different stuff. So, when I come hang out with some people, I generally respond because what else am I doing all day? I'm reading textbooks. I'll take that one. So now we have the Corruptors. They're going to take this fight here once again, and it's not going to be that great. They're microing back into pulsar beams. I mean, micro all you want. You're still not going to take a good fight. So yeah, we have more and more Void Rays on the way, +2 air attack on the way. Solar, he's on 5 bases. That's nice. Zest is on 4 though, and it's three Void Rays at a time. Did we get Flex Veins? We did not. But again, 3 Void Rays at a time coming on in. And we're getting a 4th. Wait. Zest. You're not maxed out yet. You don't need 5 Stargates. You don't need to make sure that remax happens. We're gonna have 5 Void Rays on the way at a time here. That's gonna be kind of ridiculous. But so we have just enough carriers to be a threat. And I think the rest of this is gonna be Void Rays, just considering the fact that Solar, that's what he's committing to. It's effectively it's Corruptor Ling, which is, by the way, a style that was very good against these early Stargate builds, the kind of the Turtle Toss builds, back before the Void Ray was buffed. Now it's not nearly as powerful. And there we go. Now we have Void Ray speed on the way here. How many Corruptors do we have? So it is 20 Corruptors, 8 Void Rays, which is maybe not quite where you want to be. Yeah, 3-1 is pretty good there, especially with the air upgrade advantage that is about to pop on in for Zest. Especially considering, of course, Void Rays, they attack real damn fast. So that +2 is a lot more impactful than the +2, +1, whatever there for the Corruptors. Actually, Zest he's rocking himself a wonderful supply lead, and that is interesting base. I don't think I've ever seen a Protoss in a game like this take that forward base. I mean, it makes sense, right? You want to be able to kind of attack and defend at the same time. But taking that base like that, it's weird. Just get 71 MMR, then he'll be a fake here. Absolutely there. Just got to move out to Korea, make the finals of multiple make the top 4 finals of multiple GSLs. Be the online warrior. And then yeah, here will be the fake one indeed. But oh, we got -400 on the way here. We got a Mothership on the way, 3 carriers as well. There's just so much. I mean, Zest is going to max out here on +2 carriers, and I'm never a fan of a Zerg going late game like this. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Don't get me wrong. It's not the end of the world. Zerg can still win, but Solar committed to a pretty all-in format, right? He's like, yeah, I'm hitting you with 20 Corruptors and a bunch of Queens, and I'm going to try to knock your 4th base down. He was not able to do so, but Solar also realizes just how precarious of a position he's in. So we have, what is that, 21 spores already. Solar not really paying attention to maxing out. He's like, yeah, I'm just going to build a lot of static defense, and you're just never going to attack into me, so I'm going to be able to take every base that I want. That being said, of course, the base that Zest took is normally a base that Solar is going to take, so that gets a little bit complicated in terms of how these things do end up going. What is that? Bunch of adapts are, yeah, they're gonna find spores, and they're just, yeah, that's not gonna do anything. But anyway, so we have our second spire on the way here as a, well, we now have the greater spire done. We have an ultra cavern as well, which is really kind of this interesting style that's become popular over the last, I don't know, a couple months, right? Where this idea is like, yeah, the scary part of Carrier Storm is the storm, not necessarily the carriers, although again, the carriers, they can do tremendous work, but they need support, right? It just carriers by themselves, you just dive on top of them, you drop a parasitic bomb on top of the carriers, you do the loco maneuver, they'll die. All the interceptors die, then the carriers die. Dude, but now Zest, he is just about maxed out here, sitting on 120 odd supply. Oh, wait, are the Zerglings going to get... oh, they're going to get +3. That is actually massive. +3, it will be denied here for the time being. So it's only going to be still going to be +2 carriers, which, by the way, are powerful, but they're not +3 carriers. And that means Zest actually may not opt to attack on Entity here. But I think what he's doing right now, yeah, he is just denying creep. He says, yeah, I don't want you to own the map as much as you did in other games. I don't want you to own the map as much as you did against Skilless. And, hey, I'm going to try to cancel that base, which, well, he cancels anyways. So in terms of banks here, which is also something we got to look at, Zest, he's sitting here at 3.5k, 2.5k. Solar, he's got less, but also he spent a lot of money on static defense. 29 spores here right now. And we're just in that really extremely technical late game scenario where, well, investors, they're going to look for they're going to get the massive fungal here. Can they chain it? 1, 2, we have some feedbacks coming on in. Parasitic bomb on top of everything. Zest, he has got to be careful. There we go. We got a recall, but so many High Templars are going to go down. Oh, are there Zerglings here? There we go. The fungal on the rest of the High Templar. That was so expensive there for Zest. And that is what Solar was looking for. Notice Zest, he's fine, right? He did not die, but he lost 5 High Templar, and he lost the ability to be active on the map for the next 45 seconds. That's the big thing, right? You want to be active on the map here. Yes, you're kind of playing this Turtle Sky Toss style, but you want to be active on the map. You want to just be able to prevent the Zerg from really just growing out of control. And in this case, it really does feel like more it's Zest that's growing out of control than Solar is. But still, so now these Zerglings, they're going to look for a run by. They will not be successful here in this endeavor. As Zest, he is taking his, what is that, his 6th base. Looks like there's a lot of stack defense around the external base there from Solar. And we're kind of, this is a very interesting scenario. Once again, I keep saying that a lot, and maybe I should use a different word. But I don't think it's incorrect because, okay, so we have both positions here that normally they go kind of one side. So Zest would normally take this base, and Solar would normally take this base. We have both players kind of on the same platform. And we kind of saw this in Death Aura incredibly rarely too. Normally, right, the player that has the high ground, right, takes that base. But with this scenario here, this means that both players are going to be able to push into each other rather powerfully. But oh, look at this. Zest, he's got the recall on the Mothership. And that means they're going to be able to break the Spore Forest. And Solar, he's just going to be very slow in reacting, right? Because, well, it's a bunch of Broodlords and a bunch of Corruptors. They don't move all that quickly. And because there are, their bases elsewhere, he can get out if he wants, right? This is not the terrible, terrible thing that Zest is just going to be stuck here. Is now, well, the Corruptor army is going to try to get what it wants to get done. And Solar will be able to deny the 6th base of Zest. But at the end of the day, I mean, that was a free base. That was an actual mining base there from Solar. Workers went down. A big portion of the static defense went down here. What was that? 9 spores, 3 spines? I don't want to do the math on that. But anyways, that was a lot of money. All right, that was a lot of build time. That was a lot of drones. All that fun stuff. So, nice move there from Zest. He will be able to redo it in... now, actually, I guess... Is recall that off a cooldown? Yeah, okay. Recall is that fast. I know it's like it's 40 odd seconds there for the bases. I didn't realize the Mothership recall was that fast, but now we disrupt shots. They're just going to try to tag the Ultras. Because spell damage is nice against Ultras. And yeah, we got a bit of a, not base trade, but kind of a base tradey scenario happening once again. But this time, Zest can't do much about it. He will, there we go. We will have the recall coming on in once again, and there's Cloak. So Zest will be forced on into the right-hand side. Not many workers go down, actually, just some static defense. And once again, we should see Zest here trying to find his way onto this, onto all the static defense, knocking all that down once again. Void Ray will go down. That's not exactly the ideal but still a lot of static defense is going down. And Solar, once again, he just can't really take this fight just yet. Storms will not be successful. With the Hydra Templars, of course, their goal is also to feed back the Vipers, right? Make sure that there are no abducts. But look at this, a bunch of Zerglings are going to try to find their way on into the natural here. And once again, they will deny another upgrade. +2 air armor is denied. +3 air attack is now done. And now Solar looks like he's posturing on the right-hand side. No, not yet. But now Zerglings and Ultras will find their way on into this base. And Zealots, I mean, they're +2 Zealots against 3-2 Ling Ultra with Cracklings. That's just not what you need. Ideally, right, we maybe have DTs for a hold or something, but I think there was detection with that anyways. So I don't believe we have Dark Shrine on. We do, but I guess that just does not want to shell out for it. All right, so Zest is going to really struggle to take his... Oh, okay. oh, he's going to get a Viper? No, he will not. And nice job there from Zest being on top of things. It's like, yep, nope. I know what you're going to try to do here. You want to get the Abduct on the Mothership, make it truly -400. But honestly, this Mothership has earned its place in this game, absolutely. With those clutch recalls to knock down bases a couple times to keep this base safe. That Mothership has been really good. So it's one of those actually really rare games where the Mothership is actually worthwhile. And looks like Zest is getting ready to get aggressive on the left-hand side. The Mothership is not... Where's the Mothership? Oh, here we go. Yeah, Mothership's not with that army. Zest is posturing on the left-hand side. He's like, yeah, I want to go take your base out. Come on, run over to the left-hand side. But he moves back because we have Mothership. It's the defensive Mothership. There we go. Recall onto this base once again. The entire air army is here, and I like this, by the way. In the Warp Prism, we have a bunch of High Templar, which makes it a lot easier to keep these High Templar alive. Much like the idea that we see against Terrans, right? You keep them in the Warp Prism so they don't die or so they don't get EMP'd. But in this case, it's so they don't die. So now we have Zerglings. They're going to try to find their way on in, and this is still +2, by the way. +3 actually is not even getting started. Is of course it's only one forge, and Zest would rather have shields, right, for his carriers or his Archons for stuff like that, rather than having that additional bit of attack. Solar, his bank is not inspiring, right? He has a lot of gas, and that's actually the big thing, of course, in a game like this. You want to make sure you have the gas, because that's you're buying a lot of high gas units. You're buying Vipers, you're buying Infestors, all things like that. That's the big deal. Certainly not minerals. They matter, but honestly, you'll probably you'll have far more minerals than you need. Then you'll have far more gas than you need. As this is kind of vertically split, which is really, again, surprising. That's not how it generally gets horizontally split, is how the map tends to go. So I'm really interested in how that expand pattern has happened. But now, well, we're going to find the carriers and well, okay, there's a couple dead Archons, but the carriers, really the Skyfleet is going to go find its way on into the natural. +3 armor for the ground will be denied, but oh, the fungal parasitic bomb combo. This is so powerful. Again, this time though, Zesty's being a little bit slow on the recall. Everything's going down the parasitic bombs. All the voiders are dying, but it doesn't matter, does it? Because there are still enough carriers here. Now the Neurals though, what did he Neural? Okay, Neural's on top of a couple of these carriers, and now there's nothing really to deal with these Archons. Well, this is just such a dramatic fight here from Solar. He's going to wipe the Sky Army from Zest out of the sky, and Zest, yes, he has enough for another one, but the Corruptors, they're all getting stormed into misery and death, and the army is still here from Zest. I'm saying, yeah, Zesty's lost this fight, but no, he knew this army better than I did. Absolutely, the Fungals were nice, but so many Archons here, and now we have the recall. Okay, Zest, at the end of the day, he's going to take a fight that I really did not think he was going to be able to take. Now we have 5 carriers on the way at a time because Zest, he bought those two additional Stargates a while ago. That being said, damage was not done unilaterally. Zest, he did lose his natural. I believe he lost... Did he lose any tech there? I think maybe he lost another Cybercore. Yeah, he doesn't have a Cybercore for +3 air armor anymore. Zerglings will be able to find this right-hand side base. But I think that was that much better. Well, if you lose the space, that's a very different question. But I think originally that was a far better result there for Zest than it was for Solar. That being said, that is a lot of Ultras. That I guess, I mean, Ultras are expensive, 300 each. And so he's going to try to knock down some bases here, I guess, with that. But I mean, this is a lot of... You cannot fight this many ultras into this many archons, even if they only have +2 instead of +3. So now stalkers are going to blink on forward, and stalkers actually do a very good job against ultras, right? They do that bonus armor or bonus damage to armor here. So this army from Zest, it's not quite as complex as it was previously, and Zest did have to spend a majority of his bank to make this happen. But so did Solar. All right, Solar lacking a lot of minerals at this point. He's only mining 2,000 minerals a minute. Granted, Zest is mining less, but he still has a bank, so it's less imperative. I do like this decision from Solar, though. Going on into Broodlords behind this. That has a lot of Archons. Archons are perhaps the second worst army in the entire, or unit in the entire Protoss arsenal against Broodlords. The first one, of course, is Immortals. And, you know, that does mean that this will kind of invalidate the a good portion of Zest's army here. Oh, he's got four robos on the way right now. That's pretty cool. Now, these ultras, they find their way out into the main base. They're starting to knock down a lot of this tech. That being said, I think the Mothership should be able to scare off the detection and then cloak everything up. Okay, DTs, yeah, the DTs will be able to clean this up eventually. But Corruptors are now going to find the Mothership, and, okay, Shield Battery Overcharge is going to keep this alive for the time being. We're going to see a recall to it? No, the Mothership, -400, -400. Yeah, that is a bit of mispositioning there from Zest. I was kind of thinking that maybe Zest is going to be able to make a really big push happening, a game-ending push happen with that Mothership core, with that Mothership when it pops back on up, but -400, -400 indeed. And now Zest, he's committing to Immortals. But sure, you know, that's a lot of ultras, I get it. But it's Broodlords on the way, it's Infestors on the way. This army that Zest is building is an army that is meant to build to beat Solar's last army, not this one. And now Zest, he's only on 39 workers. He is really only truly he's only mining off of one base and kind of long distance from another. He's running out of money in this game. So this army that he has, realistically, is the last army that he's ever going to have in this game. And yeah, this DT is going to get warped on. It's going to try to be as defensive as it can. But there's detection here. Zest, as long as he's microing properly, should be fine. And even then, the DT, it only has +2. It's not killing things all that fast. There we go. Okay, there's the detection. The DT goes down. And now Zest is really starting to lose a lot of his production here. Gateway's getting targeted on down. Pylon's going down as well. Zest has a really terrifying army, right? This is 6 carriers, a lot of Immortals, a lot of Archons, a decent amount of Storms. It's difficult to deal with. But if we get the right Fungals here, Fungal number 1 is going to be damn good. As long as these, as long as the carriers go down, that's the big deal. So there we go. Parasitic Bomb Fungal combination on top of all of these carriers. They're starting to take some damage. Really, it's all about the Interceptors, though. The Interceptors are not where the Parasitic Bombs are. They're not where the Fungals are. Zest, as much as I don't like this composition, it looks like he may just have enough. If he knocks down the anti-air, nothing really matters anymore. The Corruptors, they're all dying. More and more Stalkers getting warped on in. The Ultras are dying as well. GG Zest, he takes it. At the end of the day, he takes it. Here we are, spawning at the bottom left in the red. He is tied in this series now, and it did look like he had some chances, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, not quite enough for Kites of Gaming. He is Solar. And his opponent here spawning the bottom right in the blue, taking game number 2 in a long Skytoss game. He is, from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Zest. Now, Blackburn is an interesting map, and you know, it's funny. I cast a lot with Steadfast. Well, not until the fall. I think we're gonna take a break from doing, unfortunately, take a break from doing a lot of stuff together because the CEA is done until the fall. So that's the kind of the thing I primarily do with him. But I was talking to him when the ladder pool came on out. I'm like, yeah, man, Blackburn, it's so exciting to me. It's so cool. It's kind of like a gold wall. It's a little bit smaller. But it has that same idea of starting small and getting bigger. He's like, no. It's a terrible map. It's imba for terror and, you know, siege tank positions. I'm like, okay, fine. But I'm very happy. And again, he's a better player than I am, so I tend to defer to him in terms of kind of how the game will play at the pro level. Of course, we have all our own ideas, but point being, this map has turned out to be really cool, specifically in this matchup. In that, well, we see a lot of really cool stuff. So if the game ends on 2 bases, it's a bit sad. It kind of queen walks, things like that. But if the game goes to 3 bases, when players start expanding vertically, when the gold base gets taken, the rocks get taken down, then it goes from this really small map that's kind of hard to survive into the mid game into this much more expansive map where your fight's taking all over the place behind the mineral lines of the gold, looking to punish that. It's really cool. As look at that is an interesting scouting path from Solar with that Overlord. I actually want to take a look at this. So I guess maybe in ladder, maybe scouting, I don't know. I guess Solar, Zest likes to take a proxy base up here. So he's going to scout for it. That's really interesting. Or maybe he's used to there being, I don't know, proxy TTs never right or something. But that is just a very, very... It's not going to go proxy spy. This is not a... No, there's no way this Overlord is prepped for like 4 minutes later into this game where he gets a proxy fire. Cure, I do not have the license to that. I am explicitly not allowed to share these replays. I am allowed to commentate them. I am allowed to commentate them on YouTube as long as I don't do an in-depth analysis of them on YouTube. And I'm not allowed to release the replays per ESL rules. Which is a bit unfortunate, but, you know, here we are. I'm just glad it took me... I applied for ESL Open Cup coverage. I applied for ESL Open Cup coverage last July, and I was accepted February 6th of this year. But if you do want ESL replays, the DreamHack Masters replays will be released after, I believe, the global. They might be released after the individual regions finish, but I think that they're released after the global finals, which I want to say is like end of June, June 13th, maybe. No, that seems too early. End of June, maybe early July. Pig is posting ESL Open Cup replays. He's not allowed to do that. That's actually, like, that is explicitly verboten in the community caster agreement. I'm sure he casts replays of other stuff too, so maybe that's all he's doing. Yeah, a lot of the stuff I cast, actually, I'm not allowed to release replays for because they belong to another TO, right? It's Alpha X. I do a lot of stuff for them, and if you want those replays, then you can join the Patreon. It's like $10 a month, and you get a ton of best of 9, best of 7, best of 5 pro level replays. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, okay, so Zerglings will actually find their way on into the main base here, and that's a bit annoying. It will scout the double Stargate. It will scout the fact that this is two base carrier. And you know what? I think I was right. I think this is going to be Proxy Spire on the upper right-hand side of the map. It's so weird, and I would never expect it, but that's just such an odd Overlord path. That's kind of the only thought. It's just going to be some sort of Proxy Spire tech. But there we go. 2 carriers on the way, +1 air attack on the way. But we talked about this in the last series. All right? We talked about how Solar, if there's any player in Korea, if there's any Zerg in Korea that really knows how to deal with this style, it's Solar. He faces Zest like every week. Zest started doing this to him 2 weeks ago, and he went to 5 games in the Korean scene, and it's like, yeah, no, I figured it out. I know what to do. So really what I'm curious here is, has Zest figured out the evolution of this build that allows him to hold the Hydra Queen Nidus that Solar likes to do? That's the big question here. Because thus far, I haven't seen it. Thus far, I mean, we saw Skillas do Zest's original build, and he just got bopped by Hydra Queen Nidus. In this game, though, it's going to be Hydraling Bane. So I think that's interesting. But there's also a bunch of gateways on the way. So this is going to be a much more ground-based, ground-focused army from Zest than we've previously seen. So maybe that's the evolution, and Solar's like, okay, fine, I'm just going to build a lot of Hydras in. I'm going to get Banelings to deal with your ground army. But anyways, now Queen Hydra does mean that these carriers they are forced to get on back. It's only 2 carriers. It always makes you feel a little bit nervous because, yes, I mean, those carriers can absolutely die. Maybe not on this map with how much dead airspace there is and how the walls go, but in general, they can absolutely suffer. But no, the Overlord was not for any sort of proxy tech. I'm kind of sad about that. Zerg proxies are just the oddest thing, and they kind of make me happy when they happen. Now, yeah, with 4 carriers on the way, Zest has got a big army indeed. And the Hydras, they're fighting the rocks for a second, which means Zest is going to be able to snap down a lot of these Hydras before the fight ever really starts in earnest. Now, if Solar can wait a little bit longer, right? His +1 is done in 10 seconds. That is going to make his fight that much more powerful. But now the fight is happening in earnest here. Zest is getting on top of things even before we have +1 melee, or excuse me, +1 range. The drones have been pulled to defend this, and I don't think that Solar has enough, right? He is down in army supply right now. How many interceptors do we have, though? That's the big question. Only 7 interceptors. Now the carriers are just about useless. It's all down to these stalkers. And actually, you know what? At the end of the day, it's all about these stalkers. That being said, there are a lot of adepts on the field right now. That means these Hydras will not be able to chase. And you know what? We're even, right? Solar, he has his gold. He's mining fully off of his gold. He has Hydras on the field now. He will be able to get Banelings. He does have Baneling Nest. He does have Baneling Speed. So he will be able to get some Banelings to really just annihilate these... Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute here. Zest, you dirty devil. Look at this. We have a proxy nexus. It's not to mine. We have a proxy nexus explicitly for shield battery overcharge. This is the coolest thing I have ever seen. This is so cool. Man, how lucky am I that I get to broadcast this today? Zest he's establishing a defensive position here. He says, yes, Solar, attack on enemy, all of my adepts, all your Hydras. Well, you know what? Banelings are really getting his depth just for what it's worth. But every time there's a problem, he goes back to his Nexus with shield battery overcharge, and now the attempts to shield on top of a lot of Banelings. That was maybe not the best move. But now there's a bunch of Hydras. They're going to move on in. They don't have a lot of defense, and the stasis trap is still there, but Hydra's carriers are going to go on down. The Nexus is not done. Zest, what have you done here? This was such a cool move, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Now, okay, now the Adepts will get on top of these Hydras. And that's going to be a problem. So now we do have the shield battery. We will have shield battery overcharge. But what we need is more Banelings, right? The Adepts, as long as they continue to get warped on in, that's going to be a big problem. But if you just get a couple Banelings, that should be fine. There we go. More and more Banelings are on the way here. Yeah, Buck Foley has passed the Turing test. Oh, look at that. We got a Baneling run by coming on in as well. But now, this is Solar. He's going to take the fight. Here's the thing. He killed off the shield battery, which means that this entire expenditure of, I'm going to get a Proxy Nexus so I can Proxy shield battery you. So I can shield battery overcharge you. Not going to work. Not anymore. As Banelings are going to look to roll on in here as well. Zasty's not paying attention. 1822 workers will die. Maybe even a little bit more. And, well... Now it's a three-base economy. Zest on 37 workers. And as sexy as this build is, and by the way, it is damn sexy. It really feels like something SOS would do. At this point, it feels like Solar has a little bit too much, but those force fields are going to be damn fantastic indeed as they section off the army of Solar. But even this army of the Solar on the left-hand side, it's going to be able to do enough. It's going to be able to do enough to hold off Solar for the time being, or to hold off Zest for the time being, that we should be fine. And that means that drones are going to get pulled here, and these force fields are actually causing a big problem. Yeah, Zest, he has Nexus warp-in speed, so these force fields, they keep coming on in, but now Solar, he finds his way on out. One force field will pop down, looking to segment things off, but most of these Hydras will get on down as the carriers are starting to go on down here. It's all about the ground army at this point. The ground army is not powerful. So, you know, what a cool build there from Zest. Not going to matter. GG. Solar, he takes game 3. So, I just want to see Zest do that again. That made my life when I saw that happen. It had to be the coolest thing I've ever seen. It's up there with, you know, again, we were talking about this last game, towards the end of the last game, or I guess in the break. Up there with SOS, you know, proxying a Nexus in what was it? Was it Dreams? I think it was Dreams. No. Might have been Dreams' main base. To recall, to build a probe, to build a pylon. No. Anyway, yeah. The Nexus to recall the Adepts, to build a probe, to build a pylon, to warp in DTs later on. Like, what the hell? That makes me so happy. But in this game, I don't think we're going to see that. There's not quite a position that you can do that in. I guess maybe between the natural and the third, but you don't have quite a position that is close enough to a base, but still often uncovered by creeps. So I don't think we're going to see this from Zest again. I want to see it from Zest again, man. Oh, man, do I want to see that from Zest again. But not on this map. You might see it on Juggernaut. Juggernaut might be a valid option. I don't know. I feel like Oxide's just too closed in. It's a little bit too difficult to get that one done. So we will have this adapted. We'll find its way on into the natural, and this is what's annoying, right, about being forced to take your natural as your third, but at this point, realistically, Zergs know how to deal with it. You got the Queen, you got the Zerglings, it's not going to get a lot done. And, okay, so Zest, for his part, it's an Oracle on the way. This can mean a couple things, right? Zest's carrier builds do start with Oracles, not Void Rays, because they allow you to get a little bit more damage done. They allow you to defend against Zerglings a little bit better, things like that. And, of course, they allow you to know what's happening, right? So we're going to have to see whether Zest does go for that. He will go for the second Oracle. If he goes for 3, it's going to be somewhat likely that it is a carrier build once again, as that's just kind of what he likes to do. Yeah, Buck4, that's why I said Bop, and I immediately changed what I was saying. I'm like, yeah, that's not fair. The games have been very close indeed. And that, as a commentator, that makes me very happy. You know, the Marine Lord Zest games were a bit underwhelming. The Skillless had one good game in there, but oh man, it's not as bad as what I had to do when I did the last day of the ESL broadcast. There we go. 2 workers will go on down. Nice little pickup there for Zest. Again, as he begins his trend. Oh, we have Phoenixes on the way. Huh. When was the last time you saw a Phoenix build in PvZ? It hasn't been. I mean, yeah, maybe Phoenixes are a response to something, but certainly not double Stargate Phoenix in an actual serious game, as in this is going to be my opener. So is that what Zest is going for, though? It's only the one. We don't see any more on the way just yet. Yeah, there we go. Double Phoenix on the way here. So I'm really curious to see how this one works out. In fact, like every time I see Zest and Solar in the finals, I get to see a new Protoss build that Zest is kind of like workshopping. Will it work? Will it not? I don't know. But certainly I'm excited to see it tries. Okay, now Overlord will be able to fly on in now. We'll see the double Stargate. We'll see that there are Phoenixes on the way, and we'll, of course, see that there are Phoenixes on the map. And the way you deal with Phoenix builds is, honestly, you just drone. You drone. You build 1 spore per Stargate, so 1 spore per Stargate per base, so double Stargate means 2 spores per base. You accept that you're going to lose a decent amount of workers, but you build queens, you drone, and you go from there. But oh, so he's walking some queens. Roaches are on the way, and I don't know how I feel about this. Right? Yes, you can maybe lift up the queens and deny their healing, but also, I mean, there's not a lot of defensive utility here. So we're going to have to see just how good this is. I mean, Zest is doing it for a reason. And he's doing it for a reason on this map, which is often rather vulnerable to queen walks. So we're going to have to see just how well this works. The Phoenix will find 1 Ravager immediately. Oh, they're going to find a bunch of Ravagers morphing on in. That's going to be rather nice indeed. So already they're finding some worth here. They're getting more than Void Rays often get. But now the Zerglings, they're going to run on into the natural, and there are too many queens here for these Phoenix to really get what they want to get done, and we don't have any more on the way. What we have is what we are going to get here in this game. As now the Phoenix, they're going to lift up almost every queen. So the queens on the grounds, they should go down here. Queens in the air, they're going to last a little bit longer. But with the Oracles here firing away, that actually may be enough. Yeah, no, that's going to be enough to hold here, I think, as we have more and more Phoenix on the way here. Isles are not really going to land. The queens are starting to go on down. The Phoenix, they're doing a fantastic job of keeping Solar out of Zest's natural, of his third base. And yeah, okay, it looks like now we have a little bit on into the main base. The Roaches are going to get lifted on to deal with this. We have a couple Warpins to deal with the Zerglings. And yeah, Probes are going to die a little bit. Zest needs to not deal with the Zerglings with this Phoenix. That just is not going to work. But there we have it. GG Zest. He takes game number 4. And we're moving on to the final game. In the bottom left, you're looking at the main base of the red Zerg player. He is, from Kaitsa Gaming, Solar. And the upper left in the blue, he is for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. For Dragon Phoenix Gaming, he is Zest. And yeah, Buckboy, you're not wrong. You're really not wrong. How did Solar get his natural down on the shortest map in the pool? I guess Zest was just slow on a scout. Because this is 16, 18, 17 too. Good for Solar, right? He's not going to be have to take. Actually, no, I think he took a faster. This looks more like a 15 hatch, I think. So maybe that's what he did. Because on this base and this map in particular, taking your natural as your third is a real big problem. The natural position is so far away from either third, and it's just so abusable that you really want to make sure you get that natural down on location. But yeah, Buckboy. You talk about bops. Yeah, the last day of ESL wasn't totally bops. Cost versus, I want to say it was Skillis was pretty good. The two middle European PVTs were rather good. Marine Lord Hellraiser, no. Is it Marine Lord? Yeah, Marine Lord Hellraiser. Also not all that bad. But yeah, then we talk about Pure Legacy Astrea, and we're like, oh, well, that was a series, I guess. Unfortunately, I mean, it was done in 7 minutes and 20 seconds. But here we are. We're in game 5. Zest, once again, he's going for a Stargate, because of course he's going for a Stargate. Why wouldn't you go for a Stargate? Interesting Stargate location, though. Almost like he's trying to hide what he's doing. So he's not going to go the Phoenix thing again, is he? If he is, by the way, I do like the series planning from Zest a little bit more than what I've seen him do against Solar in series past, where he'll throw out his new fancy, newfangled build. He'll throw that out in like game 1 or 2, and he'll use it a lot, and Solar will eventually figure it out. By game 5, it's not working, and he uses it in game 5. You're like, well, okay, Zest, I guess you die here. Because you can't expect to run the same build 5 games in a row or 4 games in a row, 3 games in a row, whatever, and expect to have it work every time, unless you're Innovation and going 3 command center play, and that's just because Innovation is Innovation, and also more because of how Terran works, right? Protoss is a much more academic, I guess, race in terms of how they look at the game. It's less about just pure, macro splitting whatever mechanics, although that is possible, that is useful. You still need that, but it's also about the clever of your how clever your build is, how well you're able to hide things, and again, much more powerful units. So you can't just get away with the same going to 3cc Terran against Zerg every time. You got to be a little bit more inventive than that, and I like this from Zest. Right, he is throwing his new build in game 4. Right, he's throwing it in when Solar doesn't have a lot of time to think about and try different ways and figure out how to beat it, because we're in game 5 now. And Zest actually... Wait, has this Stargate been scouted? It has not. So, okay, we got a gateway on the way. Oh, wait, we're going to see an Oracle all in. I think we're going to... Yeah, there we go. 4 gateways on the way. More Oracle. We're going to see an Oracle all in coming on in here. Shades of SOS in like 2015 is insane, right? This is Zest is throwing Zest is going full SOS in these last 2 games. We had the Proxy Nexus to get something done in game number 4, and this time where we're gonna see 3, maybe 4 oracles. You're gonna run across the map, as well as a bunch of gateways, and hoping just to catch Solar off guard. These oracles are getting damage done. What? No, they're gonna stay alive. Okay, there we go. Do we have a Roach Warren? We do. Is Solar building roaches? He is not. He's building Zerglings here as he drones behind it. He does not know what is coming. Now, he can get up to like 41 workers, right? That's going to be okay. If he gets up to like 55, which it looks like what he's looking for, I don't know that he's going to be able to survive. Now, these Adepts, catching these Adepts is going to be a rather nice thing indeed. The Adepts, 2 of them will be, 1 of them will be able to escape. And Zest, I mean, he's pretending like he's going for 3rd base, right? Yeah, he's like, yeah, absolutely. 3rd base, sure. And this may be a 3rd base. This may be an idea for a 3rd base here, but it's a 3rd base that is coming in at 530. And you don't get a 3rd base at 530 unless you're getting tremendous damage done to your opponent on the other side of the map. So another Oracle is on the way. We're going up to 3 here, as it looks like 1 did go down. And we're just going to have a lot of Adepts. They don't have upgrades, but they're going to shade across the map here with these 3 Oracles. And Now we should see some roaches on the way. We immediately, yeah, that's kind of funny. So the burrow key is R by default. So we saw, like, research burrows are by default. So we saw Solar, I guess he had his hatchery selected. He started burrow for half a second. He's like, build roaches. I think this is a little bit too late, actually. The Adepts are just going to shade on top of all these queens. One queen is just going to get surrounded here and taken down immediately. The Oracle's going to turn on their pulsar beams, and all the queens are going on down. And this force field, the Evo Chamber force field there from Solar, it felt like a good idea. He's like, yes, keep the Adepts out of my base. Does not matter here. Adepts, they're now on into the main base. They're going to find a bunch of workers. They're going to find roaches. They're going to get as much damage as they can. But here's the question. What is Zest's follow-up? Because at a certain point, these Adepts are going to age on out. They will not be able to fight the army here of Zest. But if they can keep catching Solar out of position here, maybe that's enough. Zest, though, he's building a bit of a bank. He's got a robo on the way. And I think he's resetting. We don't have a third base, though, and this makes me rather nervous for Zest. As cool as that was, I don't know how I feel. I don't know how much I like it here. Now, hey, there are a bunch of workers that are available to get taken out here. As a lot of queens have died. We have 4 queens have died. How many queens do we have on the map? We also have 4, and Oracle will go down. Okay, that's a bit of a problem. But hey, more Adepts, they're going to find their way on into the natural as well. So these Adepts, they're going to try to get what damage they can. Another queen will go down, and that is something. Right, so the Adepts, but I mean, there's just a lot of army here, so they will be forced to shade on out. Now, they will be able to get pretty far away because of the speed zones. But Zest is still on 2 bases. I liked the idea of this. I think I like it more if they have glaives, or you +1. You do more than just glaive Adepts. You get a robo. I don't know. I think you can afford those things. Like, the idea is cool. You're like, yeah, it's a glaive Adept Oracle all in. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. But it's not. I mean, most Zerg builds, you get a Roach Warren at 4 minutes. You go for a Queen Walk anyways on a map like this. So I don't know. Now the Adepts, they're gonna look to shade on in, and they will not, because again, it's just a lot of roaches here at this point. Solar, he has a decent army supply lead, and then we have Immortals on the way. We're gonna go to. Is this 2 Robo Disruptor? Maybe, but whatever it is, Solar, I like this. He's got a Spire on the way. He's like, yeah, okay. You are taking. I don't think he hasn't seen the 3rd yet, but he knows there's no 3rd just yet. And now there's of course, it's getting started here for Zest, but still an 8:30 3rd. That is so incredibly late from a economic perspective. He knows Zest will not be able to transition into anything that really deals, especially now canceling that 3rd base. He knows he's not going to be able to transition into anything that really deals with a bunch of mutas. So what is he going to do? He's going to bank gas. He's not going to be that aggressive. And he's going to hope Zest overextends, because there we go. Zest, that's a bit of an overextension. Adepts are going to shade on top of this, and they're just going to look to target down as many Ravagers as they can, get as good trades as possible before they run on out. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be great. A lot of these Adepts will go on down, even as the Ravagers do die. And yeah, Solar, he's not going to feel the need to build anymore because, well, A, he can run across the map with this. He got a lot of Adepts, but B, Spire is about 30 seconds, 40 seconds from completion. He has about 1,000 gas, so he's going to be able to build a lot of mutas. And there's not a lot of anti-air here. I mean, it's a couple stalkers. It's a decent amount of stalkers. But the mutas should be able to deal with that. The muta roachling should be able to deal with this. But oh, look at this force field here. Dropping on in front. The queens are going to start to go on down. But now Solar, he's got his attempted surround. Oh, those are good force fields, though. And with these Immortals, with the 3 Immortals, maybe, just maybe, this is going to be enough for Zest. I mean, has Zest caught Solar at a timing where he's waiting to build mutas and, in fact, not building stuff on the ground? Yes, he did, but at the end of the day, the roaches are going to be more than enough here. We're going to have the Biles. They're going to kind of land. They're not going to be they're not going to be the best ones, but Zest's army is just falling on the map. There we go. The War Prism goes down. There we have it. GG. Solar, he takes the 5th and final game. He will be your champion of ESL Open Cup America.